The scream shattered the silence of Thornwood Manor like a dagger through glass. Lady Evelyn Hargrove stood in the center of the drawing room, her hand clutching her throat, her face twisting in a rictus of agony. Her emerald gown billowed as she collapsed onto the Persian rug, the crystal glass slipping from her fingers and rolling across the polished floor. Foam flecked her lips, and her eyes, wide with terror, stared blankly at the chandelier above, its prisms catching the firelight in a mocking dance. The guests, gathered for her 50th birthday, froze in a tableau of shock. The gramophone's soft melody scratched to a halt, replaced by the howl of the storm outside. Sir Reginald Hargrove, her husband, was the first to react. He stumbled forward, his silver hair disheveled, his tailored suit crumpled as he knelt beside her. "Evelyn! My God, Evelyn, speak to me!" His voice cracked, but her body remained still, her chest no longer rising. Dr. Victor Langford pushed through the stunned crowd. "Stand back, I'm a doctor." His hands, usually steady from years of practice, trembled as he checked her pulse, pressed an ear to her lips, then recoiled. "She's dead," he said, his voice flat. He bent to the fallen glass, sniffed it, and grimaced. "Cyanide. The almond scent is unmistakable." A collective gasp rippled through the room. Amelia Thorne, Evelyn's niece, pressed a trembling hand to her mouth, her auburn curls framing a face pale with shock. "Aunt Evelyn, no, it can't be." Her green eyes darted to the others, searching for answers. Beatrice Caldwell, Evelyn's younger sister, stood by the window, her black dress stark against the storm-darkened panes. Her lips were a tight line, her eyes unreadable grief, perhaps, or something colder. Colonel Marcus Hale, a retired army officer with a weathered face and medals pinned to his chest, clenched his fists, his mustache quivering. In the doorway, the staff hovered, Jameson the butler, his face a mask of professionalism, Elsie the maid, tears streaming down her cheeks, and Mrs. Potts, the cook, twisting her apron in gnarled hands. Thornwood Manor loomed over the Devon cliffs, its Georgian towers battered by the Atlantic gale. The sea roared below, waves crashing against jagged rocks. Rain lashed the leaded windows, and the wind moaned through the chimneys like a lament. The manor was isolated, the nearest village 5 miles away, the roads treacherous in the storm. No one could leave, no one could come. Constable Perkins arrived within the hour, his lantern swinging as he dismounted his bicycle in the courtyard. A stout man in his 50s, with a ruddy face and a uniform strained at the buttons, he was out of his depth. "Lady Hargrove murdered," he muttered, surveying the scene. He sealed the drawing room, ordered the glass untouched, and sent a telegram to Scotland Yard. "This is no simple matter. Locked doors, latched windows. It's a devil of a puzzle." By dawn, Inspector Harlan Crowe had arrived from London. He stepped from his Austin motorcar, his trench coat dusted with the first snowflakes of winter. Crowe was unremarkable medium height, graying hair, a neatly trimmed mustache, but his gray eyes missed nothing, and his reputation for unraveling impossible cases was unmatched. He had cracked the diamond heist of 22 and the poison pen affair in Mayfair with a quiet, relentless precision. Perkins met him in the Grand Hall, where portraits of Hargrove ancestors glowered from gilt frames. The drawing room was locked from inside, "Sir," Perkins said, ringing his cap. No one entered or left after the scream. "The guests all vouch for each other mostly." Crowe nodded, his gaze sweeping the marble floors, the sweeping staircase, the grandfather clock ticking like a heartbeat. "Show me." In the parlor, Evelyn's body lay under a sheet. Crowe lifted it, noting the blue lips, the contorted expression. The glass, now bagged, sat on a table. He sniffed it carefully. Cyanide, as the doctor said. Quick and lethal. He turned to Perkins. The room, describe it? Locked tight, sir. Doors bolted, windows latched against the storm. No secret passages, I checked. Crow entered the drawing room. The fire still smoldered in the hearth, casting a warm glow over velvet armchairs and mahogany tables. The side table held a decanter of sherry, half full, and several glasses, all clean except Evelyn's. He examined the chip on its rim, a distinctive mark. Who poured the drinks? Jameson, the butler, Perkins replied. Says he served everyone. Crow summoned the household to the library, a cavernous room lined with leather-bound tomes, the air heavy with the scent of beeswax and old paper. The guests sat stiffly, the staff stood at attention. I am Inspector Harlan Crow, he began, lighting his pipe. One of you is a murderer. I will find out who. He started with Sir Reginald, in his study. The baronet paced before a portrait of Evelyn, her painted smile serene. She was my world, he said, his voice breaking. We had our struggles, but who doesn't he? Struggles, Crow prompted, his pipe smoke curling. Business troubles. My investments in the colony's rubber, mostly have faltered. Evelyn's inheritance from her father kept us afloat. She was particular about how it was spent. Her will leaves the bulk to Amelia, her niece. I get the manor and a modest income. Enough, but not lavish. Crow noted the tension in his jaw. Enemies. Reginald hesitated. She was strong-willed. Clashed with her sister, Beatrice. Amelia's behavior vexed her lately. But murder unthinkable. Next, Amelia Thorne in the morning room, sunlight filtering through lace curtains. She was 24, her auburn hair pinned loosely, her green eyes sharp despite her grief. She sat sketching a flower, her pencil moving with precision. Aunt Evelyn raised me after my parents died, she said softly. She was strict but kind. Last night, I was at the piano, playing Beethoven. I heard her say the sherry tasted bitter, but I thought it was nothing. Where were you before the toast? Talking to Colonel Hale about his time in India. Then I played. Did she mention her will? Amelia's pencil paused. No. Why? Just asking. Crow sensed a lie. Perkins had whispered of rumors Evelyn planned to cut Amelia from the will over a scandalous affair with a stable boy. Beatrice Caldwell was in the conservatory, surrounded by drooping orchids and the patter of rain. She was 45, sharp-featured, her black dress accentuating her pallor. Evelyn and I weren't close, she admitted. Mother S. will gave her the estate, the jewels, everything. I got scraps. I've had to fend for myself. Bitter about it? Who wouldn't he be, but I didn't kill her. I was by the window when she fell. Anyone who might want her dead. Reginald, perhaps. Or that doctor, he's shifty. Dr. Victor Langford was in the billiard room, leaning on a cue, his eyes darting nervously. He was 50, balding, with a tick in his cheek. I treated Evelyn for anxiety, he said. Prescribed sedatives, mild ones. The cyanide, I keep some in my medical bag for emergencies. But it's locked. Show me. Langford retrieved the bag from his room. The lock was intact, but the cyanide vial was half empty. Someone tampered with it, he stammered. I swear I didn't know. Crow raised an eyebrow. Convenient. Colonel Marcus Hale was in the smoking room, a cigar smoldering between his fingers. He was 60, ramrod straight, his medals gleaming. Evelyn and I were engaged before the war, he said gruffly. She chose Reginald. Broke my heart, but that's life. Any lingering resentment? He chuckled, but it didn't reach his eyes. I'm too old for grudges. Last night, I was chatting with Amelia. Saw nothing odd. The staff were questioned in the kitchen, its copper pots gleaming in the dim light. Jameson, 60 and impeccable, said, I poured the sherry from the decanter. Lady Evelyn's glass was her favorite, with a chipped rim. I served it myself. Elsie, 19, her apron damp with tears, whispered, I saw Miss Amelia near the side table, sir. She looked sneaky. Mrs. Potts, stout and red-faced, nodded. Lady Evelyn argued with everyone lately. Even me over a recipe, she said, but it felt personal. Crow spent the afternoon exploring the manor. In Evelyn's bedroom, he found a locked desk. With Reginald's key, he opened it. Inside was a diary, its pages filled with spidery handwriting. He read, January 5th, Reginald begs for funds. His affairs will ruin us. February 12th, Beatrice threatens to sue over mother's will. Desperate woman. March 20th, Amelia's affair with that gardener's boy. Must stop her or disinherit. April 15th, Victor owes thousands in gambling debts. If Reginald knew. May 3rd, Marcus sent a letter, still angry after all these years. June 10th, Jameson took petty cash, forgave him, but he's not trustworthy. July 22nd, Potts overheard something she shouldn't. He must watch her. The diary ended abruptly. Crow pocketed it, his mind racing. Motives for everyone. Lunch was a tense affair in the dining room, the long table set with sandwiches and tea no one touched. Whispers flew, Reginald needed her money. Beatrice hated her for years. The doctor had the poison. Amelia sat silently, her eyes darting. Hale sipped brandy, his hand unsteady. Beatrice glared at Reginald, who avoided her gaze. Crow observed, his pipe smoke curling like his thoughts. As dusk fell, another scream pierced the air. They rushed to the kitchen to find Mrs. Potts slumped over the sink, a knife buried in her back. Blood pooled on the tiles, mingling with spilled flour. A note in her apron read, You knew too much. Perkins pulled the knife, a kitchen blade, wiped clean. The killer's tying up loose ends, Crow said grimly. He examined the body. Death was instant, the knife piercing her heart. Potts had been washing dishes, alone or so she thought. Who was in the kitchen earlier, he demanded. Beatrice admitted fetching water. I was thirsty. Langford had come for a headache powder. Just a moment, I swear. Hale wanted a late snack. The sandwiches weren't enough. Amelia had offered to help with tea. Mrs. Potts shooed me out. The storm intensified, power lines down, plunging the manor into candlelit gloom. The air grew thick with fear. Crow ordered the doors locked, but the manor's sprawling halls were impossible to secure fully. He set a trap at dinner, served in the dining room by a trembling Elsie. I've found a clue, he announced. A cyanide vial in the garden, hidden in the rosebushes. I'll name the killer tomorrow morning. The guests exchanged uneasy glances. Reginald poured brandy with shaking hands. Amelia toyed with her napkin. Beatrice stared into her wine. Langford's tic worsened. Hale muttered about the weather. That night, a thud echoed from upstairs. Crow led the charge to Colonel Hale's room. The old soldier lay on the floor, blood seeping from a gash on his temple, a fire poker beside him. He groaned as Crow revived him with brandy. Saw a shadow, a woman, I think. Whispered, forget what you know. Who? Crow pressed. Couldn't he see? Too dark. Crow's lips twitched. The puzzle was nearly complete. At midnight, he gathered them in the library, candles casting long shadows. The wind howled outside, the manor creaking like a ship at sea. Ladies and gentlemen, he began, his pipe glowing, this is a tale of greed, betrayal, and cold calculation. Lady Evelyn was poisoned with cyanide, not in the sherry but smeared on the rim of her chipped glass, ensuring only she would die. The drawing room was locked, but the killer was inside, one of you. Motives, Sir Reginald, your failing business and secret affair with Beatrice. Beatrice gasped. How dare you? I found your letters in the fireplace ashes, Crow said. Torn, but legible. Amelia, your affair with the gardener's son. Evelyn planned to cut you from her will. Amelia's face flushed. That's private. Dr. Langford, your gambling debts. Evelyn threatened to expose you. Langford sputtered. Lies. Colonel Hale, your broken engagement. You sent her threatening letters. Hale bristled. Old history. Jameson, you stole from the petty cash. Evelyn forgave, but didn't he forget? The butler bowed his head. Mrs. Potts paid for knowing too much. The killer is Dr. Victor Langford. Langford shot to his feet. This is outrageous. You stole cyanide from your own bag, Crow continued. You bumped the side table during the toast, smearing the poison on Evelyn's glass. Potts saw you in the kitchen, mixing something suspicious. You stabbed her to silence her. Hale overheard you on the telephone, discussing your debts. You struck him with the poker. Proof, Langford demanded. Your fingerprint on the vial, hidden in your medical bag. And Evelyn's diary. She knew your secret. You killed a patient years ago for insurance money. She blackmailed you, and you snapped. Langford's face crumpled. She wouldn't stop. The demands, the threats. I had no choice. Perkins snapped handcuffs on him. The room exhaled. As dawn broke, the storm cleared, sunlight glinting off the cliffs. Crow departed, leaving Thornwood Manor to its ghosts and its secrets.